as you know, if a final course is brought out, it's a lovely, lemon cake for everybody else. For Shion, a gorgeous bouquet of sherbets are brought out with again very accompanying berries and cream.
Hmm.
What? Excuse me?
I'm beginning to get the impression that he likes Blondie.
So, sure, I don't know what would ever give you that impression. Um, but everybody else is also given a sweet port to pair with their lemon cake, and it's all the servants kind of bring it out sort of simultaneously, and that's the first time where you see that like there's literally a servant for every one of you. Um, and Aldrin raises his glass of port and says to the heroes of Sandpoint and kind of offers a toast to all of you and hopes that you've enjoyed the meal. And he's happy to say that when you're done with your dessert, we'll retire to the study. At which point, Lucian here has offered to give us a private show. And then he
Not
takes
that
his.
kind of show, you heathens.
Ah.
Um, and so he
You mean
sips
no
his
Danny,
portion.
blackjack?
ever the mischievous one, bats her eyes at him and goes, "But why not? Sounds
Okay.
like fun."
Okay. So Aldrin, continues to eat, drink, be merry. It gets louder as the day progress or as the evening progresses. Um, you do notice that the rays of sun that had entered the room from some of the small windows at the top of the ceiling have begun to get longer and longer. You're not entirely sure how long you've been here, um, but it seems like the evening is certainly drawing close. Once everybody's eaten their lemon cakes, the uh, doors opposite the doors that Rose was escorted out of open up. It's another set of double doors, and you're all enter a room. And again, it's a study. There's another fireplace there. Um, more books. These books are seem fancier than the ones that were in the previous room, but this particular room, rather than being completely lined with bookshelves, has a ton of hunting trophies all across the wall. There's also a very interesting stained glass window that overlooks, let's see, the coast of Sandpoint, and you can see the sun sort of setting down um, uh, on the water. Gorgeous view, even through the stained glass window. It's a very beautiful view. So it's a big, it's probably a 5-panel stained glass window, sort of a bay stained glass window. There's a picture of the picture that is depicted in it. There's a tree that kind of it's like a tree on a hill. The tree itself, it's in terms of the top of the tree, takes up, most of all 5 panels. There's a sunset. There's a family that's kind of having a picnic or something like that on the hill. There looks to be, between 4 to 5 family members. And then there's a small like if you look at it for long enough, you'd be able to tell that sort of like in the distance off to the right, there's clearly a house of some type. There's it, you could probably make out the fact that the sort of behind the tree, there's the implication that there's water as well. You see that there's a harpsichord in the corner, Lucian, that you're able to. That's kind of prepared, ready to go for you.
Oh.
And the rest of you have, there's sort of like in the round seating around the harpsichord, that you're kind of.
Well, I will make my way over and roll my sleeves up and take a seat.
Okay. Aldrin seems very pleased with all of this and kind of, does little. Hold on. So Cal, what I'd say is that in this new room, only one of those things is in this room that you see.
Okay.
Yeah.
After a while of not seeing the other thing, I'm probably going to seek again, but that can be a little bit later.
You're probably gonna see if you can spot it again. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but that'll be later.
Okay. So, yeah, okay. So, but Aldrin, a huge smile on Aldrin's face, as you prepare your performance.
So I have this, and I have
Okay.
keys as that.
What's that?
You have to pick a focus, an instrument
Okay.
focus. So keys, keyboard related.
Okay.
What I play will depend on my role. Let's see if we get Mary Had a Little Lamb or not.
Can I give him guidance?
I mean, it would be a little awkward, but sure.
I would just like, hey, good luck on your performance.
Yeah,
it's a
okay,
verbal,
sure. You got
and
it.
I would cast guidance.
Okay.
What does guidance do? Is that like a
It's
plus
a-
one?
It's a
another
spell.
+1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I have another plus. So I'll have +2 to my roll.
Wait. Actually, I could probably give aid or attempt to at least.
Wendy's gonna sing?
Right,
No.
exactly. You would
That
have
would
to
mean
use-
I would perform. No, giving aid is not actually doing the action yourself.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's see your roll, buddy. No, so actually, that's not how it's going to work. How it's going to work is you're going to tell me what you're going to try and do, and then we're going to roll.
I just rolled, so.
No, we're going to do it again because that one you roll to everybody. So
Oh, you want to roll to the GM?
Yeah, but I want you to tell me what you're going to do first. Are you going to try a particularly difficult piece? Are you going to try something that you know very well? Are you going to do something from your homeland? Are you going to do something?
It will be something I know well, but it will still be a difficult piece. I mean, my character was like a performer.
Sure. Are you going to do something that's are you going to try in any way to tie it into the hunt or to like
we will do something really rousing and tempestuous.
Okay.
A very rousing 3-part sonata.
Okay, I'll tell you what I will do is I'll actually do this roll for you. What I'm going to do. Are you okay with that?
Okay.
So you get a plus. You've got a +9, right?
It'll be +9 total. Yeah.
Okay. So you prepare, right? This is the first time that you've performed in front of the group in this fashion, other than you did perform in front of Danny at the end, but not with harpsichord, correct?
Yeah, that was very casual. Yes.
Right. Exactly. So this is the first sort of formal performance that you have, and so there's a little bit of, but it's also not the first time that you've done this for a crowd, if you will, right?
Oh, definitely not.
And so you begin, and you can tell that the harpsichord is in excellent condition. It's been tuned very well. The resistance that the keys give you is familiar, right? The keys themselves are made out of actual ivory, which perhaps that's a material that you're used to playing on. But it begins to kind of flow through you, and as you go, you begin to see the rest of your of the audience kind of begin to sway and move in a way that that you're really kind of connecting with them. For those of you who are witnessing the performance, you see Lucian in a new light, with his, finery garb and whatnot, plus the fact that he's, sort of becoming one with this instrument in a way that's been different than on the battlefield with his music and the way that you knew that this individual had a way of warping music to rouse your soul, but now you're seeing that he's has the capability of doing it in a way that's just sheer entertainment. And when it comes time, it's difficult for you to not, move or tap your foot, or you're worried that in the most pleasant way possible that this song that he's performing for you might get stuck in your head later. And you see as he kind of builds and builds and builds, and he becomes very sort of animated, and you might get a small the fine hairs on your forearm might perk up a little bit as you get some goosebumps kind of running down your spine as the acoustics in this room are particularly fantastic as well. And as he kind of brings his performance to a crescendo, just as he kind of finishes, there's that moment of just like silence as the last notes of music sort of reverberate within the room, and then Aldrin and all the servants, break into a raucous roar of applause, and Aldrin will come over to you and thank you so much for the performance, and talk about what a absolutely magnificent way to end the evening, and that he wouldn't want to ruin it. He wouldn't want to possibly try and ruin the evening by topping it with anything else. And so again, he takes the opportunity to thank you, tells you that if you ever need anything, that he's here, especially if it's horse related, right? If you ever need any sort of transportation or hauling or anything like that, he's more than happy to provide those things for you at either for free or discounted rates, depending on how great the need is. And escorts you, kind of gestures to the servants that the evening has come to its conclusion, at which point the second set of doors that's out of this room opens up, and you realize that those are leading back into the foyer, where it's obvious that you're being escorted out of the building. You all sit there in stunned silence.
We'll applaud Lucian, and then I guess thank Aldrin for the meal and head out.
Mara, are you trying to talk from across the room?
I know this headset is real bad too.
Okay.
I just said I was applauding too.
Okay.
My only thing is in the room. You said that there are trophies of his hunts.
Well, no, you don't know that they're his, but there are the room that you're in right now does have quite a few hunt trophies. Yes.
Is it like they're all boars, or can you?
No. You actually recognize one of the animals that you had seen in the book earlier.
Yeah, I was wondering.
As being an extinct animal. The rest of them do appear to be, there might be one or two that you don't recognize, but most of the rest of them do appear to be, normal, or they're elks, deers, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, that kind of stuff.
Okay, the extinct one. Is there a specific one, or?
Yep.
I just recognize which. Do I recognize?
No, I mean,
one?
so you see, the one that you see that kind of really catches, it's actually a bird. That it's the markings of the bird do bear a strong resemblance to one of the birds that you'd seen that has been extinct now, that was in the extinct book.
Okay, I would just make note of that, and that's it. And I'll clap and then leave with everyone when we get up.
Okay.
Yep.
You're gonna
withhold my disgust.
Okay. Okay. It doesn't mean that he killed the last one. That's not what that means necessarily, but
No, but
he doesn't know that. I mean,
killing for trophy is not.
I see. I got you. I see what you mean. all of in not to that I need to be an Aldrin defensist, but most of the items are put in a way that are taxidermied in a way different than the foyer, where it's sort of a traditional mounting. All of these mountings do appear to like be action mountings, where it's the entire animal being represented, in a way that they would have appeared like an action. You know what I mean? So like the bird is in flight. Some of the cats and things like that are in sort of crouching positions or sort of hunting positions, that kind of stuff. And so Cal, did you? Okay, hold
Yep.
on. Okay. So, so actually that's not even necessary because
Okay.
in the middle of the performance, it's actually everybody kind of sees that the cat that had been well, I guess that Queso was the only other person that had seen it at that point. You all see a cat sort of enter the room and curl up on the floor in front of the fireplace while Lucien was giving his performance.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna walk up to the cat and put my hand out and let it sniff my hand.
Okay. It cocks its head in such of a way rather than it doesn't even bother to smell you. But when you put your hand out, it kind of, does the things that cats do, where they kind of are prompting you to scratch behind their ears, type of situation.
Rubs its cheek against her?
What's that?
Rubs its cheek against her?
Kind of, but more just,
The
sees where-
headbutting of the hand.
yeah, sees where the fingers are and kind of like, rubs the back of its head against her fingers.
I'm gonna sit on the floor next to the cat and scratch behind its ears and pet it while we listen to the performance.
Heavy purring. When the performance is over, the cat doesn't move.
I guess we're getting a new companion.
Ha!
Ha. Ha.
Is Batu interested in this? In the cat at all?
Hesitant to approach.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to want to get near it.
I'm gonna give Batu a weird look and then look at the cat and then just kind of like look back and forth a couple times but keep petting the cat.
Okay.
Batu's gonna be jealous.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that they're not very happy with your behavior.
Batu will remember this.
Just top left. Batu will remember this.
Right. Okay, so then you're escort out. Your eyes take a second to adjust as because it's not like it's been bright inside the house, but as you exit the building, it is almost pitch black. To a fair amount of time has clearly passed. You've been in there much longer than what it felt like. And you are deep into the middle of the night to where there's only a few homes. None of the businesses have lights on at this point, and only a few homes have some external lanterns on. Everything, but the rest of the town is quite it's quite quiet.
Good thing I don't need light.
So dark that we have trouble seeing.
Well, your eyes are adjusting from the light that was internal, right? Or that was inside. Here.
Well, I can cast that. I just sent that just to you. And just hold it
Sure.
over my hand as a light source. Dancing lights for everyone who didn't see that.
Okay. So Lucian, kind of moves his hands around and says some words, and some 4 floating lights come up over his head to be able to shine some light. You see that the shadows lengthen, and again, it creates sort of an eerie effect, right? As it's some of the only light and you're looking around, and the town, feels mostly abandoned at this point. There's very little sound coming from, you hear the waves sort of crashing up against the shore. I guess more lapping against the shore than crashing. You might hear, the wind, the occasional barking dog, some of the animals from outside the walls or across the river. You definitely could hear the river running, but no, sound of human activity where you're at currently, at least.
Shall we head back to the inn?
We could
I'll
just
just kind of nods.
Yeah, I have a friend I want to introduce you all to.
Oh God.
Oh,
You hear a very large sort of shudder as the door to Aldrin's townhouse closes, and then you hear a very distinct thud as the lock, the bar comes down across the door. And then you're out in the street. You begin walking back to the Rusty Dragon, I assume.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. On the way, Cal wants to mention something to the group.
Okay.
Okay.
Not going to speak about it on the way back, but we need to have a conversation when we do get back.
Okay. So
that's not ominous.
it's a conversation about a conversation.
Yeah, he's just stating it to the group.
An
Got it.
announcement of an announcement.
Right. We need the pre-meeting before we have the meeting. Got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Cal approaches you and tells you that he has something to discuss, but not, where there's potential ears that could hear, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you hear just the sounds of the wilderness. Forest, this feels very at home to you, right? It's just the sounds of nature that are around. Again, as far as the wilderness noises that you could hear, maybe the occasional dog barking, but other than that, it's just the things that you would expect to hear if there wasn't even a town here. As you get closer to the Rusty Dragon, there's some, sort of milling that you hear, but it's quieter than normal. The glow of the Rusty Dragon kind of appears, down the street, and you see it, and you get a small sense of relief. The evening was obviously pleasant, but also odd, right? The things that the eccentricities of Aldrin did not go unnoticed by most of you. Maybe Gib was, too busy looking at other things. But the rest of you, had a decent idea that Aldrin was certainly an interesting individual with eclectic tastes, and clearly has some, deep interests that run. Most of it is, nature related. Um, but he seemed pleasant, right? There's nothing. If you have an unsettling feeling, it's completely sort of like in the back of your head or in the pit of your stomach, and there's no real, nothing really is solid that you can put your finger on. So you get to the Rusty Dragon, you open it, you see Bethania there. She doesn't seem to sleep. She seems to be working all the time, which is kind of interesting. But there's probably only 2 or 3 people, in the common area, all of which are like asleep at their tables, pretty much, and Bethania's kind of cleaning up, and it's pretty clear that she will get these people to a cot in some way, shape, or form. And she kind of nods at you as you enter, and you should probably make some mention of that you're up rather late. but continues along her work.
We got invited to a dinner. It was interesting.
Okay. She nods and says, hopefully you're not sick of her food already.
No, nothing like that.
Definitely not sick of your ale.
Okay.
Do
Your
you
food
know?
had a warmer feeling when being consumed.
Do you know anything about that Aldrin fellow?
She hold on, let me make sure that I'm getting this. Take some of these things. Have that up. That down. Just making it some sound adjustments. At the mention of Aldrin, she's kind of like, well, I know that he's travels often. He only visits here. While he keeps a home, it's clearly not what he calls home. He's a big city folk in a small town, is the way that she describes him. And that he's not really a member of the community, but he tries to buy his way or influence his way into it. But most people see through him, but most people also humor him because he does a fair amount of business and he helps, whenever there is an issue between, so like in the farmlands to the south, if there's ever an issue that Magnamar needs to be brought into, he has in the past been able to smooth some of that stuff over. But, she doesn't, it's very clear by the way that she's choosing her words that she's doing it carefully as to not insult him. But at the same time, she's clearly not his biggest fan either. But she doesn't, there's nothing that indicates that she's not saying, oh, you need to watch out for that guy or anything like that.
Yeah.
When did he first take up a residence here?
It's a good question. He's been here for some time. Well, his family, so that what she tells you that, his family has been, it's an interesting, there's been some tragedy, right, with I think it was his grandparents, she says. I know that there was some tragedy there. He's kind of a old money family that's fallen out of favor, right? Whereas before and he's, Aldrin kind of sees it as his mission in life to bring his family back to prominence. Whereas before, if this was 60, 70, 80 years, before the founding of Sandpoint, he would be seen as that the Foxglove family was one of the more predominant families in this area. And I actually don't know if the Foxgloves were part of the founders of Sandpoint or not. Let's see here. Yeah, so they might actually be. So let me take a look here. I just Control F. So no, so he was not. They were not part of the founding members. But what she would tell you is that what you might not know is Amiko's family were one of the founding members, along with the Deverins, who that a Deverin is currently the mayor of Sandpoint. You've heard of the Scarnettis before, I believe. You might have
think
some
they
note-
were mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah, they're the lumber
they were
people.
mentioned in
Loggers and millers.
in
Yep.
passing, yeah.
Yeah. They're the
And then
lumber
the
people.
Valdemars which are the shipbuilders and carpenters.
I think that's new.
VALDEMARS.
VALDEMARS.
Yep. And the Kajitsus, who are glassmakers and jewelers, right? So Amiko's family was one of the founders. She doesn't like to talk about it. As you can see, she recognizes the fact that you guys saw the interaction between her and her father. And so she's kind of, separating herself and trying to find her own way, but she still calls this place home. This is the place that she loves. But Foxglove is really, or Aldrin rather, is somebody trying to potentially act like a founder without being a founder. But again, the money's good, right? The money spends.
Right. He's just trying to get the benefits of being a local without being a local.
Correct. He's clearly not a local.
So there's 4 founding families?
Yep. The Kajitsus, the Valdemars, the Scarnettis, and the Deverins. Or Deverins.
Thank you for the information.
Scarnetti.
And these were all 4 of these families came from Magnamar. And they formed what is called the Sandpoint Mercantile League.
Okay, so you said Scarnetti, Kajitsu, Valdemar,
And Deverins.
Deverin.
Deverins.
And you said it was the founding families that were part of the Mercantile League?
Yep. Basically, they were competitors in Magnamar and decided to kind of branch out, found the Sandpoint Mercantile League, came to the area where Sandpoint is now, as a way to kind of like set up a port, if you will. They did find, so they claimed the land after securing the rights from the Magnamar Charter House. She will tell you that when they arrived, the scouts had neglected to mention the fact that it had already been settled by a large tribe of Varisians who held the region as a traditional place to spend the winter. So they didn't really know that.
Okay, so we've got Scarnetti do lumber, Valdemar shipbuilders, Kajitsu you said were glass makers?
Glassmakers and jewelry people. Yep. You saw, at the mention of that, you do remember that one of the sort of displays at the Swallowtail Festival that was unmanned, but still present, had fit that description.
And then the Deverins were...
The Deverins are just, farmers and brewers.
Okay. Thank you.
In talking to you about this, if you continue to pursue this line of conversation with her, which she's more than happy to sell, she will tell you that the Scarnettis are the ones that need to be looked out for. She alludes to the fact that they are underhanded and frankly, evil people. She's kind of surprised that the other 3 houses agreed to form up with them, especially considering their tactics that they deploy on occasion. But most of that's, the Scarnettis, yes, they have a single lumber mill here, but for the most part, most of their business is now in Magnamar. It's proper. They seem to have, they have some stuff here in town, but for the most part of, lied low.
But you'd say they have a bad reputation.
She says that people know not to cross them because they're not afraid of resorting to extra legal means to get what they want. She'll mention the fact that their diplomacy tactics are low on their list of tools. It's clear that she doesn't really want to speak about that part because it's a bit embarrassing, but yeah. He does ask if you've been to the Glassworks yet. You kind
No,
of.
not yet.
We've had the
Would you
pleasure.
say that's somewhere we should check out?
She says that you shouldn't be in any hurry, but it's one of the sort of marvels of the area, and it's a stone building on the outskirts of town, where there's also some, she mentions that it's got just the most magnificent, some of the most magnificent sort of pieces of glassware that she's certainly ever seen. And while, Amiko is, separated herself from the glassworks, she's not trying to live off of that. It is still part of her history. So then, so then Bethania goes and continues to clean up. The rest of you head up to the room which room do you want to go into, Cal?
I'd go into the left room.
Okay. So you all kind of huddle into the room at the left. Some of you are familiar with this room, some of you aren't. But it's exactly as you left it, right? It's sort of a quaint, sort of the typical what you would consider to be in room at in a high fantasy setting, right? Again, the window's just cracked open. What's that?
There may or may not be a snake sleeping under my bed, but it's fine.
Sure.
Okay.
I will look at everyone and say, "Hey, look at this awesome friend I found in the forest. Her name is Sasha."
I'm gonna let you guys talk. I'm gonna be back in just a couple minutes.
Her name is Sasha, and I think she's gonna be super fun to hang out with. And Danny looks in between everybody and clearly is super excited and thinks everybody will agree that Sasha's awesome.
Congratulations.
Okay. That's not what I had to talk to you about, by the way. I had no idea that existed.
Your snake is very cute.
Danny may or may not think pretty much all animals are adorable, and clearly everyone must agree, right? Right? She might be a little naive in that count.
So, Cal.
I was gonna get to it. Before the performance, who all saw the cat?
I think there's only two people.
Start with the easy one.
Did other people not?
Only,
I
Oh,
think
he was so
it was
funny.
only one person. Oh, you're talking
Yeah, it
about
was
during the
only one
performance. Then Patty said
Nope.
everyone saw it, right? At
Yeah,
that
I'm
point.
talking before it came in during the performance.
Yeah,
Who saw the cat?
he was right by the books. Did you guys not see him there?
No, I didn't
Yeah.
see. I didn't see it till we were having dinner.
I heard it. I did not see it.
Huh.
So there's that. Secondly,
Better hope it's not a familiar.
do you say this out loud?
Yeah.
I'm not versed in magic, whatever that is. Sure. Second, we were told to keep the fact that the remains of Father Tobin were taken secret. How did
Yes.
he know about them? Or did everybody just glance over that fact?
It was a
mean,
little
You mentioned
concerning.
this while you were
The fact that
hungry,
we
right?
didn't bring it up and
No, he
did,
said this during the toast.
I just assumed he was, told by someone else, since from what I'm aware of, we didn't mention it.
Well, there's an easy way to figure this out. Just ask the sheriff if he is in the know.
Yeah, can totally just ask him when we see him next.
The sheriff is the only
Based-
one who is there, right?
When we found it, yes, but he could have told other people.
Didn't the
Perhaps
sheriff
the
go out of
guard.
town too?
the sheriff knows. Father
Santos.
Xantus
Essentially,
also
the
knows.
heads of the different
I-
factions kind of know about it
And-
at this point.
I think the mayor knows as well.
I can't imagine why they would want this guy to know, though. It doesn't really seem like he would have any.
Based off of what we just heard from downstairs, it makes it even more weird.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they would want him to know. Though I don't
any
think
of
he found out
the-
because they told him.
I'm trying to remember.
Maybe
Were
make
there
another visit
were
to
there any
Father
guards
Xantus.
there when we found the remains gone? Like anyone from the garrison?
No, the sheriff brought us there, and the sheriff was the only one there with us, I believe.
I think there were a few guards there, from what I recall.
It's been a couple weeks, so I don't remember
Mhm.
exactly, but
Like the ones I know is Sheriff Hemlock, Father Xantus, and the mayor. I know for sure those three know, as well as that hunter that we had a conversation with last week.
the elf lady.
Yes.
So it is a little weird that he knows them.
The moment he said that, I was immediately on edge.
He's
Yet,
a weird
despite
one,
the
to be
fact,
sure.
He might not
Despite
be
the
the one
fact-
responsible. He just seems like a nosy person, but it definitely is weird.
I agree. He may
I
not
find
be
it-
the responsible one, but the fact that it is that he said something is throwing flags.
it's especially odd that he would say something about something he knows is supposed to be secret, though, is it not?
Why would he know it's supposed to be secret?
Maybe
That's
he
the
was
point.
trying to impress us by showing us that he knew.
Mm-hmm.
But if only a handful of people in town know. First of all, how would he know? And second of all, why would he let us know that he knows?
Because
Seems
he
weird.
wants us to
Did
think
you
that
did you
he's...
listen to him the rest of the night? He liked to flaunt his knowledge.
Mhm.
That he did.
That is true.
Speaking of knowledge, can I have my parcel, please?
Yeah, Forrest, what the heck was that?
Seriously.
Danny's gonna stare at him and be like, "Are we gonna do this again? Are you gonna use me as a pack mule?"
You're the one that wanted the bag. Are you saying you're not gonna help me?
I'm gonna reach in to the bag and pull out the pages, and then in my other hand, I'm gonna summon fire, and then I'm gonna just stare at you.
Oh wow! I came back at
This
the right
has
time.
escalated quickly.
We're
Are
soon
we
gonna
gonna
have
do that
PvP.
again without asking for
I
it?
literally just asked. I literally just asked, can I please have my parcel?
Danny's gonna think about it for a second, put out the fire and hand you the papers and say, maybe next time, before you give it to me, I want to ask first.
Yes, the next time you need help, make sure to ask me first.
So, Cal, did you
We
have the
yeah, we had the whole conversation.
We're
Okay.
all making friends with everyone here.
Okay. What did I want to say?
Do you need a recap of essentially what was said?
I mean, it won't hurt to hear. Sure.
We decided that the noble guy is evil.
Well,
I wouldn't
no.
say
That
I would
is
say
the noble
not.
guy.
That is not what happened.
I would say
I'm
Essentially,
shortening it.
Essentially,
I never read Shion's cliff notes about anything.
Yeah, those are bad notes.
essentially, the first thing I brought up was the cat, asking who all saw it before it made itself known at the performance.
Okay.
And since I wasn't there for
Daisy's-
most of the time, I'm like, you guys can see it, you know?
Okay.
Daisy made a comment that better hope it wasn't a familiar.
Okay.
Then we got to the point of how does Foxglove know about Father Tobin's missing remains? And we started having conversations back and forth. It's like, maybe he's just trying to impress us that he knows, but how does he know if it's not supposed to be public knowledge?
We have landed on he's suspicious.
He
and
is
we're talking
suspicious, yeah.
about making another trip to the sheriff or Father Xanthus.
Yep.
Try to get some more answers.
Okay.
the sheriff's out of town right now, though.
That is correct.
Yeah.
The sheriff has left.
So, Sheriff Xanthus.
To be
Or Sheriff
honest,
Xanthus.
though, you guys, I think we should think about the fact that we also just stole from him technically, and if he is a man of influence, we're also kind of criminals and we're associated with each other. Everyone's been seeing us kind of as the group that saved
Are
the
you
town.
saying this to the group?
As
I am.
also
I'm
the
talking to the
group who
group,
saved the town. I don't think stealing a few pages is going to tarnish our reputation.
Well, I'm
too
saying
much.
this guy is shady and he's
You would be
suspicious, so maybe we
surprised-
need to, call it early and try to go somewhere else. Maybe we've kind of extended our
Yeah,
stay here.
if we're suspicious of him being shady, we kind of don't want to be in his bad pocket for whatever reason, you know.
Also, as a scholar,
Right.
he probably, values books and would find defacing one. Danny stares hard at Forrest.
He kept his books
Like he
really
defaced
organized.
the creatures in his foyer. I care not for his books.
Forrest, if I may. People have been vilified for less than what you have done.
So
We're not necessarily talking about who was right, but rather who might put us in a bad position.
Did anybody close the window prior to starting this conversation?
Ah, fuck.
Why would it-
I
why would
forgot
it be
the window
open?
was open.
I mentioned it before I left, so I was just curious. So it doesn't sound like it. Okay, good.
I mean, I just assumed that at this point I was doing it automatically, but sure. Yeah, I go close the window.
I mean, when you make assumptions, you make an ass out of you an umption.
I have no idea who Umption is.
But, exactly. So,
The god of ignorance.
all right, you guys are your debate is continuing. Occasionally, Cal reminds you to keep your voice down. Maybe Queso as well. But you're having a good good bit of banter. And then you notice that the sun is coming up.
Jesus Christ, how late was it?
None of us slept.
That's correct.
Well, we also aren't tired apparently, so. I guess
Oh, I remember what Shion, this is a question for you.
Hmm.
It's an odd question, so
Hmm.
just be prepared for that. Does your character have possessions?
What do you mean?
So, like a typical character, right? Like, obviously, they would have things that aren't necessarily on their inventory list,
Hmm.
right? Like personal grooming items or knickknacks or just, like a diary or something like that, right? But like things, right?
Hmm.
That you have as a human being. Does your character follow in that tradition or
If he has reason to, all he has right now is gold.
they so it's like you wouldn't need a something like so I guess the question is do you try to present and behave as a human or not?
I'm confused.
So like do you brush your hair?
I suppose I could if I wanted to. There's not really a need to.
Do you brush your teeth? Do you have multiple sets of clothing? Like that kind of stuff.
Are we all expected to have toothbrushes and stuff?
Well,
Because I've
you don't
never.
have like a toothbrush, but you can like have a stick or whatever that you clean your teeth. I guess my point is like, like how is your
Do you
This is my
emulate
tooth stick.
a living
Are you
person's
good at
behavior?
passing as like a person?
so like yeah if
No, because I have porcelain skin.
right, but outside of that is my point is in terms of your proclivities, mannerisms, like people just accumulate things on occasion, right? Is that the type of thing that you do or do you shy away from that or avoid that?
Well, I wouldn't avoid it, but I also wouldn't do meaningless things.
So you wouldn't brush your hair ever.
No, I would if I needed my hair to look nice.
Okay.
That's
So
the
like
same as humans, though.
or like a person might have like a handheld mirror or something like that in order to inspect themselves.
If I wanted to look at myself, I would need a mirror. Yes.
Right, but I'm asking you is like is that so like I would imagine that in as you go on these things could people just accumulate knickknacks. Do you accumulate knickknacks or no?
I don't see why not.
You don't see why not? Okay.
Yeah,
All right. That was my question.
I'm very confused.
I understand. That's why I said it was going to be an odd question. I've never played with a poppet before, so I need to know these things. So okay, so it's to people's astonishment, it is day has begun. You are all very tired all of a sudden. But you could go on with your day if you wanted to. Or you could try and get some sleep.
Well, if
How about a
we're
morning nap?
if we're set on meeting with Xantus later, right? That's what we're settling on.
Since we can't speak to the sheriff, that would be the best course of action.
Or maybe that hunter lady.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. We might be able to talk to
If-
her as well.
If we can find her.
At this point,
Um,
I probably wouldn't sleep. I'd just go straight to Xantus if it's already daytime.
Yeah.
But you are welcome to sleep.
Okay, so Blondie.
Queso's used to sleepless nights.
Do we take exhaustion for this, or do we need to sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
We would.
I'm going to stay and sleep with whoever else is
I'm
staying.
gonna take a morning nap.
I'm staying and
Yeah,
sleeping.
I'm staying and sleeping.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
You can
Yeah,
talk to them in the afternoon.
So
Well-
is anybody going with Shion? Okay, fabulous.
Well,
So,
yeah, Queso will go, I guess.
I'm like, don't let him by himself.
Okay,
My
so
God.
Queso and Shion, or Queso and Blondie, excuse me, leave. The rest of you go to your beds. Lucian, you find yours occupied, but with a very, willing sleep partner. The rest of you find yours to be very comfortable, right? You settle in for a
I'm
quick
sleeping
nap.
in Gion's bed.
Ah!
Actually, I think I was sleeping in Rakana's bed anyway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you.
Sure you are.
Yeah, Shion was already sharing it with Cal. So no.
I thought I
Sorry.
was sharing it
Rakana.
with Rakana.
So I go back
That's
and
like-
look
Was
up.
it Rakana?
I'm
That's right, it
in
was
the
Rakana.
left. I was sleeping
Oh, that's right.
in
It
the
was
left
with
room.
Rakana. That's
I
right.
chose.
With
I just
Rakana.
chose the biggest bed, so.
Forrest, what
Right.
room are you in? Are you left room?
I was.
Forrest doesn't have a bed, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. I sleep.
Oh well, I go over to four. Well, that won't work. Never mind.
Nope.
You can come sleep
You're
with
fine.
me. It's okay.
She's got she's got a nightgown on. She's not completely nude yet. It's fine.
I sleep on the chair.
I don't know. This might change at some point during the sleep time.
But before going to bed, I'm going to try and get Rose to help me out.
Okay.
Can you choose your words real carefully from here on out?
I think
You're
that's
the
your
one,
job,
Mar, I didn't point it out, but your last sentence was literally, "I go to bed with whoever wants to come with me." So you
It's
need to
true.
watch your words.
It's almost like I'm gonna get on top of Forrest and like Forrest's new body. I'm gonna get on top of.
So
yeah.
I guess as she's walking away to her room, I'm gonna try and ask if she can. Well, shit, this is gonna sound weird.
Yep, I know.
If she doesn't mind,
helping you with a little something.
Coming with me.
Still terrible. Keep going.
Yeah,
He's
I
getting
know.
worse
I'm
every
trying to
time.
be vague, but not make it sound lewd.
You're getting there already.
You're doing a great job.
You're talking about
it's
going to
already
bed.
not great.
It's not gonna sound.
I'm not
it's not
talking
gonna
about
not
going to
sound
bed.
lewd.
She was going to bed. I go to the forest, but I was. If she wouldn't mind staying with me for a minute, maybe at a quiet table downstairs or something.
Sorry, I just gotta say, Damage. Forrest saying that he sleeps in the forest makes it seem like he's doing that Giga Chad, like talking in third person thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'll go with him downstairs or wherever he wants me to sit.
I'm. You could have gone with. I want you to come in the forest, and so it's probably best.
It
that
was
you went with
it
what you
was
went with.
hanging there. I was
All
tempted,
right.
but I'm not
like, is he
gonna.
actually gonna walk right into that one? Okay.
Oh God.
So Forrest and Rose head downstairs. Yeah, Rakan, I'm really hoping that you've got us on speaker to where your repair people can hear us. So that'd be
Nope.
great. But
Nope.
I know so fast.
Just me in here.
Missed
too bad.
opportunities.
Truly.
Dang it.
The rest of you drift off into sleep. Cadence, you'll still be exhausted when you wake up since you're sleeping in a chair.
Hold on.
There's no open bed.
I have a point of that. If Cal sees Lucian
you're
kind of
in a
reluctant
different
to go
room.
back.
You're in a different room. You're across
Okay.
the hall.
If you saw that Rose went downstairs, you could just steal her bed.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go sleep.
She's
in
only
Rose's
down
bed.
there for a couple minutes. No, actually,
I don't know
where
that.
Rose-
I don't know that.
You don't know where Rose's bed is, by the way.
The other room. I go
You
into the
don't?
other room and find the first open bed.
I
Wait,
understand.
wouldn't we know where each other's bedrooms are?
Everybody knows where everybody's bed is except for you. Nobody's seen where you sleep.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, yeah, you don't
What
know
does
where.
that even mean?
What's that? You don't. What does it mean?
Mar sleeps hanging upside down from the rafters.
It's been a month
She's
that
a bat.
nobody's noticed that, and so finally I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna have to come out and say it. So, yeah. So Cadence, again, you could sleep in a chair. It's totally fine. Rose and Forrest head down. Blondie and Queso head to the chapel. So we'll do Blondie and Queso first. Actually, no, since Rose and Forrest are going to be getting some sleep directly afterwards, why don't we do that one first?